Good morning, travelers. Tara here, and we're going to do a quick open reading. We are coming up on the spring equinox here very soon, and this weekend we will have a new moon, and I think this new moon is going to be in Pisces. And Pisces can be either a rather confusing time, or it can be a time to kind of just go with the flow. In other words, surrender to the process. Because a lot of times there are forces and events that are beyond our control. And the more we try to fight it or understand it or resist it, the more difficult it becomes. So a lot of times it is simply just required that you surrender to the process. That being said, website members, I will be posting up the first in the video series on the astrology. I've revamped it, redone the whole thing. It's taken me a while, but I'm tweaking the last portions of it. And so sometime later today, that will be posted up into the astrology video, and there will be a series of more to come. So please, I want to thank you for your patience on that, because I had to really stop and think about how to get that done. For those of you who are not website members, if you think you might be interested in a tarot card reading with me, I will have the website address there on the bottom of the screen for booking. My turnaround time is between 24 to 72 hours. I have lots of different tarot card packages. I'm sure there's something there that you can afford. You don't have to necessarily get a reading based upon what it is that comes out here. If you have any kind of question, my motto is to discover, confirm, and empower. Okay, and so it's always, to give you, at least get you to think about things in a different manner, and that may help you to make some decision should you need to. Now, we have the new moon on the 17th in Pisces. We have, and that's going to be a highly emotional moon. Most water moons are. Do know that if you're going through some kind of tough time, give it a couple of days, because the moon will be changing signs. The moon changes signs every 2.5 days. It's the fastest moving body in the sky. Then on the 20th, the sun moves into Aries, and that starts the first day of spring. So that's going to be our spring equinox. On the 21st, on the 23rd, Mercury will retrograde into Aries. And so we're looking at really an 8-week time frame of information blackout, of muddled messages, confusion, maybe things breaking down. Aries rules the first house of self. So this is about your ego, it could be your physical appearance, literally. Maybe you might want to, you've been thinking about going on a diet, or you've been thinking about changing your wardrobe, or cutting your hair, or dyeing your hair, or getting a stylist to help you with your makeup, or revamping your online profiles, your LinkedIn profiles, your networking profiles, your dating profiles. Really, during a Mercury retrograde, you want to kind of focus in on those things. Think about how you can rework, revamp, revise, review. We also have Jupiter, who is retrograde in Scorpio. This rules other people's money and resources, okay? And anytime that there is a body that is retrograde, it just simply means it's a time frame to kind of focus more inward. Now, with other people's resources, maybe you've got to figure out how to come up with some money to complete a project. Or maybe you and your partner, or you and your spouse, are trying to figure out a way to get extra money to go on a vacation, whatever, pay for the kids' college. In terms of the Aries and the self, this really is a time to focus in on who you are, who do you want to be, how do you want to project yourself out there, how do you feel about yourself. And then when Mercury turns direct, be ready to implement those plans. So say, for instance, you've been wanting to go on a diet. Well, now during this next 8-week time frame, you know, you can do a lot in 8 weeks. You can get some firm up, tight up, and lose a few pounds and inches if you really just focus on that. So that by the time summer gets here, you like, bow, banging, got a kicking body, okay? They say that summer bodies are made during the winter. Well, you've got the spring. You've got 3 months, ostensibly 3 to 4 months to be ready for the beach. Let me put it that way. So with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and lay the cards. And see what they have to say. Okay. Website members, those of you who took advantage of the the Straight No Chaser reading special, I want to thank you. I'm going to be doing Akashic Records here very, very soon. I keep getting the message that I should be doing Akashic Records for you. So I'm probably going to place that on a special and probably have that up by the weekend. So both for members and non-members, there will be a slight discount. Not much of a discount. I've already lowered the price as much as I possibly can. So it won't be a huge discount. It'll be a slight discount. But it really is a great way to try to move through those things that are really just been vexing you. Clear some things up and try to move on. All right. Well, the card has presented itself. Some changes are coming. We still have this huge Pisces stellium. That's going to be occurring all the way through April. And yesterday it was... Let me just take a look. Let me open up my software here so I can get an idea of what I'm looking at, because it's just really been I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bodies in the sign of Pisces. And for those of you who are website members and you have your Roman Gods ebook, you really want to pull that thing out. You want to print it out and you want to study it. And so the videos that I'm about to post will help you to understand the players. And the players are going to be the planets and the bodies. And right now I have Hygeia, Vulcano, Juno, Diana, Bacchus, Apollo, Neptune, Asclepius, the Sun, and Chiron, all in Pisces. And Chiron in Pisces is really quite transformative there. Can be quite transformative. He is the wounded healer, but I also look at him as a maverick, because typically his myth is, you know, he really overcame a lot of odds and ended up becoming quite pivotal and quite important in the God pantheon, even though he was very, very unusual. So you know, a lot of times people who have a prominent Chiron will feel very different or look different. They may have some kind of what they may feel is a deformity, when really it's not a deformity. It's just something that makes you different. And that can be surrendering to the process kind of thing, is accepting that, recognizing it, and then figuring out how to utilize that for the greater good. Okay, so we have a 10 of Wands. That's the card that's presented itself. Let's say the rest of the cards. Knight of Cups. And the 9 of Swords. Well, something has come to alleviate. What I'm getting off of this 10 of Wands is not something that I always get. And what I'm getting is a feeling of oppression. But something has, for some of you, something has, excuse me, or an event has occurred that is giving you the opportunity to alleviate that, but there's something about it that either frightens you, or you're worried about it, you're fearful of it, it may be keeping you up at night, this could be a trust issue Here is the Ace of Coins. Well, 2 knights. Somebody new has come in for some of you. And whenever there are 2 knights, there's a slight concern about this new person who's entered into your sphere. Now, this could be a romantic situation. For some of you, it could be 2 people. Let's say the rest of the cards. Here is the Judgment. For some of you, this is a legal issue having to do with finances, something you're going to have to revisit. Here is a Queen of Cups. So I'm looking at perhaps a water sign, female, whether same-sex and or heterosexual. This would be Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. If not that particular sign, element, then what I'm looking at is someone who's caring and nurturing. So, you know, this could be a nurse, caregiver, something of that nature. Ace of Swords. So 2 aces, definitely a new partnership. And the 4 of Pentacles. Wow. Well, some of you are afraid to make a determination or afraid to make a decision. And in fact, you're kind of waiting for perhaps that all important news and or message to come in for you. Here with this 4 of Pentacles, this is quite interesting. Oh, wow. Well, this is the overall energy. And this represents Jupiter in Pisces. Okay. Jupiter is the bringer of gifts. And he is the bringer of opportunity. And the bringer of abundance and growth and expansion. In fact, a lot of times when you will find Jupiter in your sign, you tend to gain a little bit more weight. That's your physical, that Aries that I'm talking about. You eat a little too much, you drink a little too much, you have a good time. That's what Jupiter is all about. Now, also when I see 2 knights together, this speaks to me of 2 different modes or types of communication, 2 different ways of communicating with people. One person is more soft, perhaps empathetic, romantic, fantastical. The other person is like, oh no, you know, that I'm rational, I'm logical, and that kind of doesn't fit for me in one way. So, wow, this is a really interesting spread to me. And you hear tarot card readers say that all the time, but this is true. This is a very interesting spread, just the way that it came out. So there's only one major arcana card here, and that's the Judgment. And I really only have 1, 2, 3 pip cards that I can take a look at. The rest of these, we see that there's more than one person involved for some of you. The court cards, for some of you, this could be about your children coming to an, for some of you, this might be about child support and alimony. Remember, I'm talking about Jupiter and Scorpio, other people's resources. So that does include alimony, child support payments, insurance payouts, mortgages, college funds, joint 401k, retirement funds, those kinds of things. So for some of you, it could be about that. There's definitely, I do feel, for some of you, a legal issue that is pending at the moment. And what you have been doing is you've been kind of waiting around for, you know, trying to conserve what you have, because there's uncertainty here. This kind of reads like uncertainty for some of you. For the rest of you, you may be struggling to either get your message across here. For some of you, this could be, you know, look, I'm really not going to budge. This is what I'm asking for. And so you're trying to carry that all by yourself. For others of you, you may have, and this is what's interesting to me about this 9 of Swords coming across this way, is that I think some of you are fearful or worried that the news won't be good. And you have, in one respect, you're just trying to maybe hold on, or trying to, this is really, to me, reading on this diagonal here about just being all up in your emotions and your feels. Well, I will tell you, you know, Worrying is not going to alter the situation. It's not going to make it happen any faster. It's not going to bring you any benefit whatsoever. So if you've been extremely worried about some news coming in, or the news that has come in has not been very good, because sometimes the Knight of Swords can be somebody who is really rather harsh, can be rude, will hurt your feelings, can be very quick to cut you off, not allow you to express yourself. You know, sometimes you just got to say what you got to say. Others of you, there's a new partnership that has come in. There is a new person or situation that has entered. And you guys, some of you are very hesitant to accept it. You are waiting. I don't know what you're waiting on. Here's the Nine of Cups. You know, a lot of times we want to hand the universe a script. We want things to go a particular way. Well, so we don't make a decision. Now, not making a decision is a decision as well, right? And sometimes, again, remember I was talking to you about maybe you just need to go with the flow and not have any expectations of how this is going to turn out. In other words, remove the way you want things to happen. Okay, take that expectation away and just see what happens. That's really what I'm getting. I do feel for some of you that there is a hold on this news, and you are quite fearful that it's not going to come in. Now, the Four of Pentacles is a card about stability and firm foundations. And it can also be about simply holding on to everything that you have right now and not investing that in anything in the future. Now, this is not just monetarily. Your resources can be your time, your energy, your thoughts, your emotions, your creative ideas. You know, there's only one wands here. There's two swords, two coins, two cups. There's three swords. And what I'm looking at here is these two messages passing, or these two events. So for some of you, it could be two things occurring at the same time, and you're kind of not sure what maybe perhaps you should be focused on. Here is the Ace of Swords. That's the yes card. That's the rationalization. That is the truth. So indeed, for some of you, a message has come in that may have you changing directions at a time when you weren't expecting to change direction. But the Judgment says, you know what? It's time now. It's a new way of life. It's a new way of being. It's a new call to action here. And these are opportunities. And if you're not in the right place or the right time or the right frame of mind, then you might miss these opportunities. And sometimes opportunity really only knocks once. And sometimes you have to take the risk and just go for it. Of course, you want to protect your own, whatever it is that you need to protect, right? Doesn't mean you can't take the risk, though. Factor in what's the worst that can happen and what can I really stand to lose. That's the question. So what I want to do is I want to take a look. Let me tell you first about the two aces. It speaks to, like I said, a new partnership. I mean, that's just plain as day. Now, I don't have any repeater numbers here except for the two aces, and those would be ones. Okay, and all ones are related to the Magicians, which is related to all tens. So this, whatever this thing is, this is a changing energy. That is supposed to be an Ace of Wands, but it has come through either a young water sign individual, or it has come through some kind of offer, but it's a tentative offer. Okay, it doesn't really have legs yet. See? Now, let me go. That's all I can look at. I'm going to look at the 10 of Wands, the 9 of Swords, and the 4 of Coins, all sitting next to this Judgment card. So let's start with the 10 of Wands. And to see, because it's touching up on that. whatever this thing is that feels burdensome to you, it's, I think with the Ten of Wands, it's asking that you definitely, there's something unexpected that happens for some of you. For some of you, this has already occurred. It says in a reading, the Ten of Wands indicates that it is a time to set limits and restrictions on yourself and others. This time will not last too long, and you will be glad for the benefits achieved. Remember, we're talking about taking a risk, but doing so in a very cautious, not cautious, but in a more aware manner. It tells you to prepare yourself to be calm and strong in the face of unexpected events or situations so that you are able to deal with them accordingly. Now, let's go to the Nine of Swords to see if it tells us anything sitting next to this Judgment here. And what is Judgment but discernment? Well, it in one respect that we could say there's aces on all sides. The Nine of Swords appearing in a reading with aces on all sides asks you to see the positive side to a situation. Realize that all that has taken place will work out for the best. It is a message that all has happened and happened for a reason. You are asked to look to positive and beneficial new beginnings and make the most of your experience. You know, you hear me say all the time when people say, well, you know, that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger. True, but nobody wants to hear that crap when you're kind of going through it, right? It tells of an unfortunate set of circumstances or inconsolable happiness and deep personal loss. It asks that you look at what you have in your life and stop feeling negative or sorry for yourself. It asks you to be patient as better things are coming soon. You're asked not to try to rush things at this time. And this could be something that has come in where you might have to make a choice very quickly, in which case you really need to focus and ground your energies and not really come so much from an emotional space. Now, coins are not, like I said, not necessarily all about finances. Coins, it can be the actual doing of something, okay? Some news is definitely coming, some announcement, some decision, some judgment, something that is coming to change the situation as it is here. Let's look at this Four of Pentacles here, because they're really not giving me much information, and I might have to pull some other cards to figure this out. Oh, come on. Now, this is interesting. The Four of Pentacles with 3 court cards. Knight of Cups, Knight of Swords, Queen of Cups. Ask you not to take on board other people's opinions and views. Listen to your own intuition and do not be influenced by others. Whatever this decision is, you may have a lot of fear about it, but I dare say that you should not. You may receive a large sum of money that will ensure your financial security. Four of Pentacles. This money may be in the form of an inheritance, a legacy, a perk from an employer, a compensation payout, or severance payout, or a competition or lotto win. Please don't be emailing me asking me if you're going to win the damn lotto. Don't do that. It indicates a change for the better, which will put you in command of your own life. Do what you think is best for you and listen to your own advice. It also indicates that it suggests that sometimes change is needed in order to view things from a different perspective. When you step back from a situation, you are able to see the bigger and broader picture, broader view, allowing for consideration and thought rather than taking hasty, ill-conceived action. Consider your options and take the best course of action. It speaks of job promotions, career advancements, business opportunities, and financial windfalls. Take heed of advice given by someone in the know. In other words, seek professional advice. Don't come to the tarot card reader. We can give you an idea of how that may play out, but if you really want to know and you really want to protect your what you've got, your investment, go talk to the people who know how to do that. Okay. It indicates someone with sound judgment and a good mind for business matters, or someone who knows the value of money and how to invest it wisely. It tells you to keep going in whatever it is that you're doing. Well, people. So let's see what this... Wow. This is really an interesting spread to me. Well, let's see what this Nine of Swords is all about, because this is in our future vertical column. You really are fearful of some kind of decision. Now, whether this is a decision that you need to make on your own, or whether it is really a legal issue for some of you, a divorce or a separation of some sort, property issue, financial issue, money issues, a job issue. In other words, you know, maybe you've gotten a job that you, it's going to require that you maybe move locales. We go from the country to the city here. There's some mountains right there. It's the flag. There's an announcement coming. Whatever this thing is, it's going to literally change things for you. Well, look at this. What we're dealing with is a past lover, perhaps, and someone who really has difficulty with letting go. Maybe this is you having difficulty letting go. Okay, of a relationship. This guy, when he shows up, can be the most fantastical person in the whole wide world, but it's not a stable energy. You see how that horse is not taking that step in the water yet? Okay. In other words, he's tentative. So the Knight of Cups can be somebody who shows up but then kind of pulls back, or won't ever give you a firm commitment. You never know where you stand with this particular person. They may say things that make you think one thing about the way they feel about the relationship and or you, but then you're not quite sure, right? And this could be even in a business standpoint. You could be dealing with somebody like that in terms of your money and your finances and your career. This is not always about love, okay? But what we see is that here's the Il Nemico, the man who acts in secret. Well, I'm worried. Is this can I trust this person? Here is the desperate jealousy. This is the excessive attachment to a situation. In other words, you really are, I would say, overly focused on this, right? Will he steal from me? Will he take my heart? Will he take my money? Will he take my valuables? Will he take my time, my resources, my trust, my faith, my self-esteem? Will he steal my money? And this is also in terms of a business situation. Now, I feel for some of you, you may have been carrying the burden of someone who's like this, and now I think you are kind of not wanting to face up to the facts that this person is not the person you're supposed to be dealing with, no matter what kind of relationship it is. Maybe there is a legal, maybe you have sued somebody, or maybe somebody's trying to sue you, and you are very, very worried about how this situation is going to play out. Maybe you have been waiting on the final decision to come down, the judgment. I'm going to look at, it comes quite quickly. You know, you need to surrender to the process. And you're just going to have to wait it out. And in the meantime, while you're doing that, be about the feat of doing the research and getting the information that you need to either mitigate what may not be exactly how it may not, let's say for instance you're expecting X amount of dollars and you end up not getting that. Okay, but you've already had plans on doing other things with the amount of money that you thought you were getting. Well, you might need to reassess, rework, and review that. This could be Mercury going in retrograde. It's asking you to review and to go back and get some more advice from learned people, okay, on what you can do with this opportunity. So even if it's not the amount that you think, there's still something you can do with it, right? It might be telling you to do that now. I'm warning you now that Mercury's going to go in retrograde. So for some of you, this could be about signing some kind of paperwork. Some of you are dealing with somebody who doesn't want to give up. This is the miserly person. I'm going to look at this 4 of coins here. Indeed, some of you are not going to be getting the amount that you think you're going to be getting. And that's what you're worried about. So you have a decision about what you want here. See, this is the discovery. This could also be you, someone understanding that you're not going to budge from your position. But here we have the anxiety, the fear, and the worry. 2 cards, same thing. And the consolante sorpresa, the consolation. This is really about not getting what you thought you were going to get. But is it or is it not? Okay. So that's what I have for you. Now I'm going to pull 1 angel answer card. Huh. Isn't that something? Don't be so smug and think you got this locked up, because you may not. And you may need to go back and rethink some things and gain some more knowledge and information. What if? Do the what if scenario. What can you stand to lose if you don't get what you've been looking for? Even if this is about a job offer, what are you going to do about that? How are you going to mitigate that? No, ain't that some shit? What is that? That's what I have for you. Let me read that to you. Wow. Sometimes these cards, I tell you what. In order to create a happy outcome for this situation, you will find it necessary to compromise. Allow yourself some time to become clear about what is truly important to you. Also, take note of matters where you would be open to changing your position. Work towards an agreement where everyone wins. Be open to cooperation that would allow you to get what you need, while also assisting others in fulfilling their desires. Be objective about finding a balance between respecting everyone else's viewpoints while still being true to your very own. That's all I got to say. So until next time, namaste. Cards, they're funny sometimes. Bye.